the HBC, presented by Chick-fil-A. Visit our locations on Forest Drive and Two Notch Road. When you tailgate, punt the burger, pass the chicken. And by James W. Smith Real Estate at the beach. Ask about our Gamecock off-season special.
I know you're not a betting man, but if somebody came along and gave you some odds on Mississippi State and Ole Miss be 1-3, boy, you'd have to take some of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it is neat, certainly for the state of Mississippi. And I mentioned to the sports writers the other day, it was neat for us in Clemson to finish in the top 10 the last 2 years. Of course, we've done it the last 3 years. And now the Mississippis, both those schools are right there at the top of college football. So I know it's really exciting for everybody in Mississippi, and especially for those two schools. So it's neat to see an underdog school sort of become one of the best.
You know, Mississippi State, how'd you do it? I did Mississippi. I watched the Mississippi State game and kept flipping over to the Clemson game and taped the Clemson game. What were your viewing habits on Saturday?
No, I watched a bunch of them, like you did also, flipping around and so forth. But actually, where I was down at Florida, I didn't get the Clemson game. I think my son Steve Jr. had it on his cell phone, so we sort of saw the end of that. But yeah, there was a lot of good games, and gosh, college football is so much like that now. They're all going down to the wire. I was thinking back my early coaching days at Florida. We would sort of get ahead, and everybody'd get to play, and everybody'd be happy. And the fourth quarter was not down the wire like they are nowadays. So we're not the only one playing close games. They're all over the country. People playing close games.
And the Gators lost another close one.
Yeah, the Gators had a heartbreaker. That really was a heartbreaker. I think they really actually outplayed LSU a little bit, but some stuff happened there at the end, and they got beat.
You kind of alluded to it, but do you like where college football is now with the parity, with Mississippi State being number one, a lot of different teams in the fold?
I think it's good for college football that there are more close games built for television. Television ratings are sky high. Attendance is up, I guess, as high as ever. So the popularity of college football may be the best ever.
Well, it's homecoming week here. A lot going on here. I know you've been around football for a lot of time. Do you have any favorite homecoming memories, either as a player or a coach?
Well, I guess it was homecoming, the game that we beat Auburn my senior year, that I happened to kick a field goal at the end to beat them 30-27. But it was homecoming. I remember that part of it. But as a player or as a coach, you don't get involved much with it at all. Now, down at Florida, they still have something what they call the Gator Growl, which on Friday night before the game, you bring the football team to the stadium, and they'll have, 30, 40, 50,000 people at the Gator Growl. And they usually have a comedian that, talks for 20, 30 minutes. And they introduce the homecoming queen, and they do all that the night before the game. I don't guess we have this here, but we do have a lot of pageantry involved with our homecoming, and a lot of people will come back for one game a year if they live far away. So homecoming is the game for that.
Coach, I want to change gears a little bit here and do a kind of knock on wood thing. I remember when you first got the job and started recruiting players in Florida, I called a couple of coaches, and I noticed that some of the kids weren't as highly recruited as others, and I asked them about it, and I had more than one coach tell me that you would rather have a B-plus kid with really good character who was coachable rather than the A kids that's going to, you have to watch constantly. It's kind of a philosophy. You can do it either way.
Yeah, I think as coaches, we're all guilty sometimes of trying to recruit the guy that's a 4-star, 5-star, and maybe the 3-star and 4-star kids are better for your team in the long run. I mean, we're all guilty of that. Sometimes you sign a player that you think's really going to make it, it doesn't work out. And then sometimes these down-the-line players become really, really good players for you. So it's a combination. All coaches everywhere try to sign the best we can. But the character and the good attitude kids they're the best, I think.
Sticking with something that you're really passionate about with the players, obviously with Todd Gurley having to sit out, now Jameis Winston, I know you're a big proponent of giving the players just a little bit of money. And these situations don't happen if you play these players, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we're eventually going to get the cost of attendance, as they call it, but it's different at every school, so they don't know what the number is. But I'm still a believer that college football and college basketball players are the ones that bring in most of the money, and they deserve a little bit extra. The other sports, I think, are pretty happy with full scholarships and what they're doing now because they're not income-producing sports. But anyway, I'm not going to make that call, but that is my opinion right there. But, yeah, we all know the rules. And I think with Johnny Manziel, he missed a half a game for signing autographs, and whether or not he got money, who knows. So these other kids said, hey, maybe I'll miss half a game like Johnny Manziel did if I do what he did. So we'll see how it all plays out.
And this week, you know, Furman, a chance for your team to really, you know, get back in the groove. Practice good last night?
We've had good practices. I just hope our guys really go out and play as hard as we possibly can, as smart as we can. Furman's a good team. Now, they're always well coached, disciplined. They're not going to give you anything. So we got to go beat them. We got to go play better. Obviously, we're a little bigger than them and should be a little bit faster, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the game. So we've got to. We're trying to start a new second half of the season. We've played 6. Let's see if we can play these last 6 like a real good team. So I'm believing our team's going to play a lot better this week.
Were you happy that they had a team meeting? Was that something that maybe needed to happen?
That's okay. That's okay. I think J.T. Surratt and Dylan and some of the older players said, come on, guys, let's give it our best shot these last 6 games. So team meetings happen, you know, all over the country. Sometimes they're beneficial. Sometimes they don't mean too much. But I think our players really want to do well, and we'll find out this Saturday.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, man.
Off the Field with the HBC, presented by Chick-fil-A. Visit our locations on Forest Drive and Two Notch Road. When you tailgate, punt the burger, pass the chicken. And by James W. Smith Real Estate at the beach. Ask about our Gamecock off-season special.